responsibility, why is it the village, yours being the town here, and the village's responsibility for paying for this? Why don't you just split it up between all of the hangar owners, figure out the cost, and there's a $30, what do you call it?
Recording.
Fee, which comes out to approximately $120 or so. So to put this issue to bed, I want to get I would instruct the clerk to get the pretty close to the exact figure on what the surveying costs are, which we believe to be about $5,500, was it?
I thought it was about 57.
5,700. We will get that figured out. And here's another one. I'm going to say I want to put this to bed because it's been tough on everybody here. So, do you have any discussion on that, gentlemen? Is that a motion?
To take the 5,700 or whatever after the airport commission donates whatever.
Well, the commission don't have to donate anymore. It's going. There's 60 hangars. The cost is $7,000. That includes the recording fee. Whatever that figure is, everybody gets charged for that. Plus, at the same time, they're going to get their notice on what the tax is for their lot this year, and be done with it. We won't have, shouldn't have to worry about it for next year if we get it done, right?
Depends.
But we got to move on this.
The surveying part we wouldn't have to do.
No, it's not been surveyed.
No,
The tax
it's
part.
all the tax bill
Tax.
comes.
So this is, let's say your figure of $120 is right. This is on top of what we have to try to collect from them for the $18,000 in taxes.
And I'm going to take a gamble at 99.9% of those people are going to pay the bill. These people have been calling me, sitting right here, want to get it paid, regardless. So again, I'm making the motion that we figure out the exact cost, which is approximately $7,000 for the surveying, recording fee, add it to what each person's tax amount is, and get this done with. Is there a second?
Can I just ask a question? Is it based just strictly on the square footage or by the valuation of the hangar?
I do not know.
I mean, could you use the valuation that the
We have a
village
charge.
is using?
We have a charge for whatever you have out here. She knows, well, I don't know if she figured out yet.
We have assessed values
Right.
on the hangars that the assessor from the village gave us.
Yeah.
But the surveying, I thought we were just going to split between
Everybody out there
evenly.
evenly. $30 fee for recording.
How many hangars, Jeff?
About 56. Because the numbers also include T hangers, but they're not being surveyed, so we have about 56, 54.
Need to know exactly. Can you find out the back?
Yep.
Thank you.
So I quite honestly, in the strike while the iron's hot theory of life, I understand that the T hanger is currently owned by the town of Palmyra and is non-taxable, but I think if we have a surveyor here that's creating legal descriptions, that it would be a really wise idea for less than $200
To have our survey.
to have the T hangers themselves surveyed so that everybody's on the same page of here's the lots or the parcel numbers or whatever they turn out to be. So that would obviously screw with your math, and I'm not talking about like the individual compartments within the T hanger,
Like the building.
but the four square of the building itself, so that it's there and it is what it is, and every year it can come up tax exempt or however. But
So all hangars will be surveyed.
Or do you want to do one survey for both T hangers together, since it's kind of, I mean,
they're not connected.
No.
So they,
but they're both owned by the town, so they're on the same plot of land, they're adjacent to each other, so it's.
It would be two
Yes.
separate, it would be two separate.
I don't see how you
Well,
can.
you can't do that, it's not hooked together. It'd be like this building in the garage.
How is the tax assessed to you? Is it based on valuation or just on square footage?
Valuation.
Because some of them hangars don't even have a cement floor, it's just dirt, no power. Other ones are really nice with air conditioning and heat. So,
We understand that, we're just caught in the middle of some of this, obviously, and we can't help the way that they did that.
I mean, as far as the survey goes, a hangar is a hangar is a hangar, whether it's a T hangar or the little one that you can see the wings of the plane through, like, that's still going to be an individual use or parcel, not a parcel.
If you would like a list of the assessed values, I can email them to you.
I'm sorry.
If you would like a list of the assessed values, I can email them to you.
Yeah, 'cause that would seem to be the way to divide up the tax bills if you were,
That's the way we're planning on it.
yeah. Okay, so not just on square footage.
Nope.
Okay, then why do we need a survey?
To create a legal
So-
description of what it is, whatever it is.
Because if we don't create the parcel, in other words, just what you said earlier, we didn't get an opportunity to go to the board of review and say, hey, the hangar's not worth that, because I don't have this. You know, so you're liable to get an unequal evaluation.
I'm just saying, in the past, it was always referenced by the lot number.
Right. But that's because of the
That's not
personal
illegal.
property tax. And now it's real estate.
Okay.
Real property.
Real property.
Real property. Real property. Anyway, I don't forget. I made a motion.
Are you gonna include the two T hangar buildings in that as well?
Yes, all hangers, I said.
And is this going to be taken to the airport commission or the town board is doing it?
We're doing it right now.
Then I would second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay.
Motion carried. Discussion regarding Jefferson County's proposed amendments to solar energy systems ordinance and possible recommendation regarding the same. I've got some emails and seen some things that, I've seen some things that, people are pretty disgruntled about this, You know anything about that?
I know that we being the county currently don't have any zoning regulation, so they're trying to create some to the point where the county would have to, not have to, they would have to halfway through the review of the project. Right now, there is nothing. So,
This is basically just looking, counties asking us for our opinion on, they're basically taking a survey of communities, municipalities in the county, on whether we'd be in favor or against this type of project.
correct. Yes.
What I'm hearing, talking to Hebron representative, they're saying there's just not enough information on what it's supposed to be. You know, we tabled this last month, but they're waiting for an answer, aren't they, Michelle, from us?
They're looking for everybody's opinion.
We're not the only one.
We're not the only one.
Are there any financials available on this, like cost benefit analysis, and things like that, where they claim this is gonna save X amount of money for taxpayers, or, I mean, a lot of these things end up being boondoggles. They claim to save this much money, and film potentially, like the windows and things like that. Have we seen any, we're supposed to form an opinion without seeing at least some financials, you know?
Well, I agree with you, that some of the other towns are not well informed either, so. And we don't have any action on this, so it's just discussion according to the agenda.
I mean, is this just a discussion, or we have to end up making a motion?
No, there's no motion here, we don't have any action.
I guess my personal opinion, until we see more information, I'm not in favor of it. That's just my personal opinion. Could be changed if we got more information, financial, this and that, what they're promising. Yeah, I'm sure this is a private endeavor that's trying to get this approved, right? No?
No, the county, the zoning board essentially said, we're sick of not having a say in what happens, so they created the draft ordinance, zoning code ordinance. And part of their process is to circulate amongst the communities that use their
Right, but
zoning.
what I'm saying is, the county's taking this up, but if they feel it's something that needs to be approved based on feedback, they would then contract with private industry, solar industry company, or the county would do it themselves.
They would, anybody who comes in with a request to install solar, they would then have the ability to review per the zoning code. The zoning code currently does not address solar.
So are we talking residential solar, these big solar farm fields, or it's all of it? All of it. I think my opinion would still be the same, especially on the large solar farms. I need to see more information, but that's just my opinion.
If you'd make a note there, Michelle, I'll go up to the zoning department and speak with them. And my other secretary just trying to remember that word too. I'll go up and have a sit down, try to bring some information.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
And again, not saying I'm necessarily against it, just it's
Yeah,
hard to say without information.
And that's what I'm hearing from everybody, so. Are we done with that discussion? Josh, we're done, right?
I don't have anything to add.
So we're gonna,
Number 8.
do we have to push that to the next agenda, or not until you come back and we'll add it?
We'll add it. Number 8, discussion of possible direction regarding electric chargers for airport garage, which are being charged for on town halls.
And I see our airport commission people left right
Yeah.
before this one. Michelle, we got like a $500, $524 or something like that. electric bill,
$549,
And we pay
and
it,
4 high 4s, just got one for the high 4s.
and we pay theirs, and we've had this discussion quite a few times in
What
the
did-
last 2 years, 3 quarters.
Okay, there was something in old,
I remember it.
what is it?
The board used to pay the electric bill for the airport, kind of as an exchange for receiving the tax money when it was in the township. But then once it was transferred, annexed into the village, there was discussion and the board directed that there would be, we would bill the airport for the electricity. Some sort of device to measure the electricity used was purchased, and in fact, I believe Jeff confirmed that within the last couple of months. And then this town board talked about it again, and they decided to, well, there were a couple of things. There was a discussion where some comparisons on services shared back and forth were to be compared. And then there was a subsequent discussion where Jeff was to get us, the airport manager, was to get us the readings on this electric meter unit. And none of those things have happened.
Okay, we can't take action on this because the word's not there. But I'm just gonna say,
Action is different than action.
so we're gonna have to put this on the agenda for next month, but
I think we should put it on the airport commission agenda.
Absolutely.
As long as we're doing the volleyball thing going on.
Well, that's what
Well,
they,
I think, my personal opinion is they should have their own meter,
I
pay
agree.
their own electric bill. Now, one of the pushbacks they had, we had discussions on it a year ago or something like that, was the cost of metering that facility out. But nobody ever said what those costs were. I think the airport commission should look into it and find out what the cost would be to have their own meter, and then separate ours from theirs.
The airport commission discusses, or someone discussed this recently. I know I was not at the meeting.
I wasn't at that
You
last
weren't
week,
at,
no.
were you at the meeting, Dawn? Where the airport commission discussed, or maybe it was on some agenda to have a separate meter installed. I wasn't there.
The commission was not for it.
But they did discuss it.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. Another one for, Michelle and
So,
the other secretary back there. I know what her name is, but I'm trying to joke around with it. So, I will call the electric company and find out what in the world it costs to have their electric bill go there. I think that's the end of the discussion.
Can I just ask a question?
way more than what the bill is gonna cost. They haven't split it, they're gonna have to go, I don't remember where the fan transformer is, somewhere out here.
That's right, it's right over there.
That corner.
Yeah, and if it is cost, I mean, at $500, now it's not gonna be that much during the summer, right? So let's just say it averages $250 a month over the course of the year. After several years, that adds up.
So they were gonna do, to Michelle's point, they were going to put this meter on, they were gonna pay half of the base fees, because there's base fees and then usage, right? There's always your facilities charges and everything else. So the airport was gonna pay half of the base fees and then whatever the equivalent of their use was. And Ed came back the month after that and said that the equipment had been bought, and until it was installed, they were gonna pay half the bill.
How long has it been in use?
February of 21.
Wow.
So is that meter still the most recent technology?
I have no
So they
idea.
bought it and never installed it, never used it?
No, that's not true.
No, I said, that was a
Well,
question.
he's come up with exactly how much this,
Yes,
that,
he did.
whatever.
I saw a photograph of it somewhere, and I can't remember where he had shown the reading. And I know I was not at the meeting, but I saw a photograph of the reading. And he mentioned approximately how much he thought, someone mentioned how much their share would be. I wasn't at the meeting, so this was all for
I remember that too, it was like
Is
$199.
the electric
Go
company
ahead.
want to tell us?
Do the hangars that have heating and air conditioning have their own meters, or is
Yes,
that part of theirs?
yes, they made their own, it's figured into there, whatever.
Can the electric company tell us how much of it goes to over there and how much comes here?
No,
Are you sure? Because on my house one, they can divide it, my freezer, my refrigerator, my stove on the bottom.
the very first step we took was calling the electric company.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, you get so many free footage from the transformer. Even if it's 100 feet from there, they don't have far to go. I'll tell you that. Let me just find out what it costs, and I'll have it put on the airport, agenda again.
But I would also like to see, because this could take another month, absolutely another month, 2, 3, 4. We can kind of keep track of a lot of these bills, so once we do resolve, we can go retroactively get them to pay us the money. Let's just not keep kicking the can down the road.
But also, when is the last time they paid anything for it?
To the best of my knowledge, they never have.
Okay, let's,
Is this
What?
electric or electric and gas?
Electric.
Electric.
There's no gas service either. Well, I should
Yes,
say
over
there's
there.
no gas service here.
If my memory is correct, I was at several of those meetings. The meter and the hookup and all is very expensive. That's why they didn't want to do it. The second thing is Jeff, the airport manager, he has some gadget where he can evaluate the percentage he uses, so they know what they should pay and what should apply to the town hall.
But I agree with you, Jim, but we're still not getting paid, that's the whole.
Yes.
Well, but that's a whole different subject.
And they're not reporting from the shell what those numbers are.
Right, and he was talking about it, and personally, I don't like a willy-nilly judgment of what it is. I want something that's hard and fast. I don't either.
Where does the main service come in? What is the main service and what is a sub panel? Sub main? Why, at the storage lockers, we probably have 50, 60 meters that we read quarterly and bill people. We Energies brings one power in on a 600 amp service. We install the whole bank of meters, and we read the meters, and Michelle bills them accordingly per kilowatt. It's just a matter of if there's a line coming from this primary, or from the primary to this panel, that's a sub panel. Before it goes into the building at that point right there, basically just install an electric meter.
It's no different than what they do at campgrounds,
Exactly.
where the campground pays the bill and then
Yeah.
each site has its own meter
Same
and they
thing.
keep track of what you use.
Same thing, and then I go and read the meters. Some of them say 0, some of them use a lot. And literally, there's no debating upon, well, we think we use this much. It's metered, it's one of their meters.
Yeah, and it's,
They should be, I mean, a person, you're not getting all the base fees and all the other charges when you're doing it that way. You're just actually charging for usage. I mean, look at your electric bill and see what is billed before you actually start usage. And when you do it that way, like I say, we've got a whole bunch. And we pay that, and we just charge the kilowatt use.
So is it like just a round meter? Like
It's a meter, it's a meter socket, very simple.
So that brings the cost way down. You get that put over there.
Oh, yeah, you would still have an accounting thing within, but it's not gonna be thousands of dollars or whatever to bring in a new service off the primary transformer.
Now, they'll literally just cut the line in front of the sub panel over there and reconnect it through a meter.
That's it. Just put a box with a meter and that's what it was.
we have to push this. We can't let it keep kicking it down the road.
I agree.
We have to push this because it's not in their
A couple-
favor, so they're never gonna, until
Take
we
months
push
to
it,
change this
they're not
thing,
gonna do
could've done
anything
that.
about it.
We'll get it on the airport commission again, I'm sure they'll hear about it shortly.
No.
Just remember that. Dawn, I'm calling you Dawn.
Don, I need it, Pam.
I have a note on that already, so.
Geez, I got more secretaries than I ever know.
Actually, isn't that town property?
Thank
Can't
for
you
all-
just do it?
I wanna thank the people for all their helpful information. It is helpful, even though it's. We're
Huh?
moving on. Checking all that, we're moving on to an issue that Mr. John Lamp here brought to me. Item number 9, discussion and possible direction regarding road easement / ownership of Pine Drive, maintenance of the road. Now, this started back at tax time, I think, when he came in here and, he was mentioning that, he lives on Pine Lane and
Pine Lane's on the other side where he is.
yeah, I know, but anyway, he don't mind plowing the driveway, but he doesn't think he should have to haul the gravel and stuff like this, which I agree 100%. So then,
No, that was a different one.
I got a hold of Bob. I talked to John and met him here a week or so ago, and, I brought Bob from Northwest over, and we're gonna go look at this road, okay? And, we're sitting in the driveway at the house, and God, it looks like somebody should be around. I called him, and I told John answered, he said, or I told him, we're sitting right in your driveway. Well, he looked out there, he's telling me, I don't see you sitting in my driveway. Well, what he refers to as Pine Lane, I don't know if people wouldn't get worried, but I've been in that driveway 3 or 4 times driving around, and nobody came out since I heard about this. But he actually lives north of Pine Drive on what he thought was Pine Drive also, on the north side. Saying it right? No, Pine Lane, excuse me, Pine Lane. So we finally did find them, 910 feet, 66 feet wide down this road. There was John standing at the end of his driveway. We discussed the whole thing, and I told him, well, I just can't say we'll haul in a load of gravel and so on and so forth, because I didn't know it was 910 feet long, and I didn't even realize this existed. Now, on Bob's from Northwest, his phone said Pine Lane. On his phone, it said Pine Lane. And so we're scratching our head about that. Cut to the chase. I wanted to put on, I did some research, Jefferson County owns that strip, 66 feet wide, 910 feet long, and the way that I talked to Ed Ham, I got a hold of him, the guy that used to own your place, and.
No, he didn't own my place.
Or he owned something down there, what do you own?
He owned a house on that road.
Or a house on that road?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. But he said that it was foreclosed on back in the Bill Smith's days, somebody remember that, and the county owns it.
Wasn't foreclosed on.
Okay, but it still ends up being in Jefferson County's name.
It was given, I thought, to the town by Bill Smith, that he developed what's down there. And he gave it to the county or the town, 66 feet, about 300 yards, to put a road in. They never did. And I've been maintaining it for the last 36 years.
The problem is the town doesn't own it.
Well, if you didn't own it, how come you tried to sell it to me more than a couple times?
Well, first of all, I had nothing, I've only been here 2 years.
Okay,
I
I'm just telling you this.
I know, we had that discussion, now who did that?
I thought it was the town, maybe it was the county. I thought it was the town.
Well, I don't.
Not only
Obviously,
that,
it wasn't
but
when we were
she
here.
looked on the map and it said Pine Lane, and I just call it north because the other one's south. And if you do know that the garbage people can't come down your driveway. Okay, they have to stay on the road. They come down that road to get our garbage.
No, but this, you know, I'm simply sympathizing here with John, that this needs to be investigated further with the county or something, because there's 2 other homes on that road?
Yes.
Uh,
Where'd you get Ed Ham's name? You don't even live here.
I know he lives up in Boston.
Yeah.
I got it from Ed Miller, because I called him about it, because I
Okay.
tried, once we came back here, got the big book out, the big, what do you call that book? Black book, big one, laid out on the table, there it is. Jefferson County owns it, and I got an app here on my phone too, it's not an official thing, but it's a hunting app, and it's Jefferson County. So that's what I've learned about this whole situation. I'm throwing ideas out there of Jefferson County deeded over to the town. And then, so we're not taking care of Jefferson County's property. Should I get a hold of Jefferson County and say, hey, you need to take care of this, there's 3 people living on this road? What do you suggest?
It's a parcel. They got it in tax collateral judgment September 13th, 2004. The county, along with like 12 other properties that sheriff's.
Well, they owned it way before 2004.
Well, then the county's register of deeds information online as well. That's all I can tell you.
I've lived there since '88.
I'm not trying to argue.
Okay, I'm
with you,
just-
sir.
I'm just saying.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parcels that they have grantor, foreclosure of tax liens by court, grantee, Jefferson County. So the county owns that, and it says there's an easement on it. I'm assuming ingress egress for the one clockwise, right off the end of the road, and the one that's halfway, however specifically it's down there. So whether there's information in the easement, as far as roles and responsibilities of, if they were granted an easement for as a common interest 1/3 in overall maintenance. Maybe that's included in the easement document. But I think the first thing we need to do is find the easement document. Hopefully the county will give it to us without having to buy it from them. And then figure out from that point.
So what's the ask on this? The goal?
What to do with it, I think.
Yeah,
Whether-
my goal is.
John's coming to us, so.
My goal is I'd like you guys to maintain it.
Oh,
I'll have it plowed. I'll plow it. But I've been putting a lot of money in it for 36 years.
oh, sure, not disagreeing, I was just trying to put it in context.
My
What
thing is
what
I'd
we're
like
trying to do.
you to maintain it. I mean, if there's a fire or something right now, because of all the rain and whatever, the first thing in the spring is when it really needs help. And I've been doing it for a lot of years.
So it's something we should look into.
Well,
Am I correct that the county took possession of that in a sheriff's sale?
Yes,
And they hold the title,
correct.
and they also have a defined parcel, correct?
It is, for the record, 024
024.
05 16 1234 007.
Maybe they'd like to sell it cheap. Sheriff's sale work that way.
so then that Ed Ham told me they wanted 2,500, he offered 500, they wouldn't do it. That's what he told me. It's accurate or not, I'm just telling you that's what he told me. Okay,
So they're getting no taxes on it right now. So what's their incentive? Their
Well-
incentive is to sell it, right?
Your buddy Bob looked on his phone and it said it's Pine Lane.
yeah,
You looked on the map, Michelle, it says Pine Lane.
I can't remember, but we did it
Yes.
together, you're right.
Yes, it
No
says
street
Pine
sign
Lane.
up.
Well, the deed's
So-
gonna define.
so
it.
somehow
I got it over another side.
They were supposed to put a road in there, but nobody did.
Well, I mean, if you look at Marshall subdivision, it looks like the parcel, Krieger and Straka own, 2 doors back down from you. They've got a 66-foot wide piece that comes off the west end of
Krieger and
Marshall.
Stratton.
I'm reading the people's names.
Is that halfway down the
Sarah
road?
Straka and Ryan Kruger.
Okay, I didn't know. I know it's Ryan and Sarah.
Their house.
Okay,
And-
they bought from Ed Ham. That's where Ed Ham lived.
So that's 66 feet wide that connects the Martin subdivision. I mean, it kind of looks like at some point, maybe somebody had a great idea that that was gonna be all interconnected, but.
Maybe that's the way Bill Smith laid it out. But he also laid it out so that was a road going to our driveways that were connecting to it.
How are these parcels sold with no access?
Really good question, ain't it, John?
Well, there was an access. They were supposed to put a road in.
I mean, if they're sold tomorrow, what would happen?
Well, yeah,
There's
because didn't you tell me?
It references there's an easement, but you can't pull easement documents up on the website, so. I'm assuming it's an ingress egress easement that was granted at some point, either before or after. Chicken or the egg, right? Splitting everything.
We have a document number on every one of these things.
That's the next steps.
When I went to Eddie Miller, he pretty much told me that I could go screw myself. He did tell me that he would think about giving me a couple loads of gravel. He said maybe he would pave it off of the road a little bit. I mean, because the town comes and does that anyway. At certain times of the year, they'll come down and do that. Never ever happened. It was like as soon as you walked away. Yeah. Okay, I'm just, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.